Welcome to Trey's Theory Corner!
What's up, Gear Mortals? Trey Xavier here, and on today's episode of Trey's Theory Corner, we are going to take a look at sevenths. Minor sevenths and major sevenths are the largest intervals that we can have within an octave. Now, once we get beyond an octave, then we get into compound intervals, which we've talked about a little bit, but in case you forget, it's when you have an octave plus another smaller interval. For instance, an octave plus a second is called a ninth, or an octave plus a fourth is an 11th, etc. A minor seventh inverts to a major second, and a major seventh inverts to a minor second. And all of the above intervals I just mentioned are dissonant. So sevenths are both kinds considered to be dissonant. So on the guitar, we're pretty much looking at two shapes per interval for these. Because it's such a large interval, there's really not that many feasible ways to play them on the guitar. So I'm going to show you first the most common two shapes, okay? So for the minor seventh, we're just going up two strings from where we started, from the root. So on G here, we've got this F, a minor seventh away. So that shape works for the first two sets of strings. And then once we get to the fourth string here, we got to move that top note up one fret, and it holds that shape for the next set of strings as well. For the major seventh, equally as simple. We've got this shape, so we go up two strings and then up one fret from the root, and that gives us a major seventh for the sixth string and for the fifth string. And then once we move to the fourth string here to go up a major seventh, we just got to bump it, make the shape one wider, so we move that top note up one fret. And then same thing on the third string here. And then there's the somewhat more impractical versions of these intervals on the guitar, or as I like to call them, the Holdsworth versions. Basically, you go from the root on the sixth string here, you're going to go up three strings, and then down four frets to get the major seventh. And then you stretch it one more to get that minor seventh. Now, when we start on the fifth string, we go up three strings and down three frets to get the major seventh. And then just make it one wider, move that first finger down one more fret to get the minor seventh. And those shapes work the same, starting with the root on the fourth string as well. It's pretty unlikely that you'll ever hear something harmonized straight up in diatonic sevenths. But, you know, they're very dissonant, but they have this kind of weird, beautiful sound to them. In any given major scale or key, there are two major sevenths and five minor sevenths. So here's the order of those. It goes major seventh, minor seventh, minor seventh, major seventh, minor seventh, minor seventh, minor seventh, and then we are back to where we started. It's sort of dissonant, but at the same time it's got this nice, haunting, beautiful sound to it. So it's something you can do, it's just not very common. Okay, kiddies, since you've been so good, Papa Trey's gonna sing you some songs.
Oh, here we go! Minor seven, smaller than a major seven, minor seven, smaller than a major seven, minor seven, minor seven, smaller than a major seven, minor seven, smaller than a major seven, minor seven.
So we have now covered all of the intervals with the exception of an octave, which I'm going to do for you right now real quick. An octave is when you start at one note and you go all the way through all of the notes and intervals until you get back to the note that has the same name. So this is a G, this is a G. They are an octave apart, okay? We can go up another octave from that G until we hit the next G. That's also an octave. Okay, we can keep doing that forever. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of our series on intervals. And when I see you again in 2 weeks, we're going to have a completely different topic to cover. I'm not going to tell you yet what it is because I haven't decided yet. But you're going to be very surprised, as will I. So I will see you then, and be sure to check out our website, geargods.net, in the meantime. First thing you got to think about when it comes to music theory. Number one, what the fuck is it? What the fuck is music theory? If you already know the answer, please don't shout it out, because you'll look like a crazy person at home by yourself. But really, in order for you to understand what you even need it for or why you should care, you got to know what it is. And before we go any further, I have to define what I think of music theory as for you, so that we can take this journey together to improve our musical knowledge and understanding.